I also want to thank Lori and Nick and the staff for those of us who have the pleasure of going by and seeing this in action. It's impressive, and to see stories like we've seen up here just continues to humble us at what they're able to do, and it's right here under our nose in St. Louis. And it's an honor for me to be a part of this event, an honor for me to be a part of the board, and in a small part be connected to so many amazing stories that are happening in a place that it's hard to even call it a hospital, because as you walk in, it certainly doesn't feel like one. But I think this time of year, you see a big red bird walking around. You hear about the winter warm-up, and it's obvious that baseball is in the air, mostly because people are sick of ice storms. But it's hard for me to go there quite yet, and especially when we have a venue like this going on. So I'm not going to waste anybody's time talking baseball, but I do have to tell you that where my mind has been, and my mind kind of this time of year, thinking about a lot of things as we move forward. And I keep having this one thought, and it's actually more of a question that I keep asking myself, and that question is one that I'm going to pose to you also. It is, what does success look like? And how do we define success? And that can go in a lot of different directions, and I think it's pretty obvious that people this time of year in my business, we're starting to prepare, starting to figure out what went wrong, what we can do better, start to figure out how we can win a few more games than the team up north is driving us all nuts right now. But I think people in all walks of life are going through the same thing right now, right? I mean, corporations are talking about their new calendar year and some of the goals that they have set. Individuals have their resolutions and goals that aren't allowing them to eat that beautiful looking carrot cake on their table right now. But I think it's common right now to start, before we even get to what the plan is what does that potential success look like? And then how do we define it? And I think it can go in a lot of different directions. The first place we'll go is, as I just did, our place of employment, because that's easy. Because if we don't do what we say we're supposed to do, there's somebody with some analytics that are going to tell us that we are no longer needed. And there's somebody always watching our back on that one. But I think it can go in a lot of other directions too when we start talking about what are our priorities and what does success look like with those in our marriages, in our home life, in our friendships. And I think we could probably even take it one step further on a night like tonight and ask a very big question. What does a successful life look like? Now that's kind of a tough road to start going down that most people don't like to. One that can be very philosophical and theological, and people will tell you that it's not politically correct to approach those, but I think with what we're talking about going on at a place like Ranken, Jordan, I think it's completely appropriate. So one of my mentors, a man I never met, mentored me as a coach. I will never meet him on this earth either, is John Wooden, one of the greatest coaches in the history of time in organized sports. And Coach John Wooden defined success for his teammates and his players that it is the pursuit of perfection while realizing perfection's not obtainable. And so he had this idea of his guys pushing to absolutely maximize what they had and then consistently have their other eye on more. And he felt that was how he defined success. And I think as a coach, that's a great definition for me as well. And I think if we can only ask that much of ourselves and the people around us, we're going to be doing okay. And then you're a good evaluator of how things went. What's your definition of a successful life? So I'm going to plagiarize another hero of mine, and that would be Jackie Robinson, because I thought he said it well. He went right for the heart of the matter. He didn't beat around the bush, not trying to give a baseball analogy. He went right for the throat and talking about significance in life. And he said this. He said, a successful life, if you're pursuing a successful life, he said that there has to be serving other people. He said it has to include. he actually said that a life is unimportant outside of the influence that it has and the impact that it has on other people. A life is unimportant outside of the impact that it has on other people. What an incredible statement. And I think that brings us to why we're here today. I think there's something in every single one of us deep down that we know that this can't be just about us. That it has to be about us reaching out and figuring out the platform we've been given and the gifts that we've been given and figure out how to make a dent in the rest of the world. And that's exactly what Ranken Jordan's doing. Ranken Jordan is stepping in when people find themselves in a situation that they, in their worst nightmare, would never dream they'd be in. They have a life that's been shattered right in front of their eyes in a situation that they never saw coming, and they have, as you just heard, a father say they felt like they had no hope. And we have a place here, and we have some people here at Ranken Jordan that have made it their life's goal to figure out how to love well and how to serve well and how to figure out a plan physically, psychologically, to help not just these incredible kids, but also their families to put the pieces back together again. And so then we're raised with the question of how do we define what that successful life looks like. And not every one of us has the opportunity to jump in like Nick and Lori and the incredible staff at Ranken Jordan do, but we do have the privilege of doing what you did here tonight. By showing up, you've shown that you care, you've invested. And I just want to challenge you as I challenge myself, because the need is growing, because the vision and the mission is growing, but there's a whole lot of work to be done. And we're being called out. We're being called out to figure out how to jump in. How to jump in and empower and encourage this group of people to where they can continue to make a huge impact in this world. Save and change lives. And we have an opportunity to join in. That's making an impact. And that's a successful life. God bless you. Thank you.